15 racist moments that stain football forever. Football is called a beautiful game, a game that unites nations, a game that brings strangers together under one anthem, one badge, one dream. But for decades, there has been something ugly hidden in the stands. Monkey chants, bananas thrown from the crowd, players reduced to stereotypes, victims punished, abusers protected. This isn't just a story about football. This is the story of 15 moments that forced the world to confront racism inside the game. Moments that embarrassed leagues, moments that changed rules, moments that broke players, and moments that made history. From the terrorist abuse in 1980s to the prison sentences in 2020s. This is football's darkest timeline. This is Sports Lab Daily, where football stories go beyond the pitch. If you believe football should be better than this, like the video, subscribe to Sports Lab Daily, and let's begin. Patrick Vieira vs Sinisa Mihajlovic, 2000. When racism came from another professional. In 2000, during a heated Champions League clash between Arsenal and Lazio, Patrick Vieira accused Sinisa Mihajlovic of racist abuse. This wasn't terrorist noise, this wasn't anonymous chanting, this was one elite professional allegedly directing racist language at another. UEFA issued a 2-match ban. For many, it felt minimal, but it exposed something deeper. Racism wasn't only a crowd problem, it existed inside the competitive culture of sport itself. It forced football to confront the uncomfortable reality that players too could be perpetrators. Luis Aragonés, 2004. When authority failed, Spain's national team manager was recorded using racist language while referencing Thierry Henry. This wasn't said in a stadium argument, it was said on a training ground. Fine was small, symbolic, and the message sent worldwide was chilling. If a national team manager can speak this way without serious consequences, what message does that send down the pyramid? This moment exposed the gap between anti-racism slogans and leadership accountability. Spain vs England, 2004. Monkey chants on global broadcast. Later that same year, England's black players were subjected to monkey chants during a friendly in Madrid. It was audible, it was clear, it was global. Television cameras don't lie, the world heard it, Spain were fined, no stadium closure, no forfeiture, and players left knowing something had to change. Romelu Lukaku at Cagliari in 2019. The system that didn't protect him. Lukaku steps up to take a penalty, monkey chants echo behind him, he scores, he stares. Instead of decisive punishment, there was debate over severity. When governing bodies hesitate, it sends a message, and that message is dangerous. Moiskin at Cagliari in 2019, when the victim became the headline. Teenage forward Moiskin squad and stood firm, facing fans who had abused him. What followed wasn't universal support, it was debate. Should he have reacted differently? Did he provoke them? This moment revealed how quickly narratives can shift away from abuse and onto behavior. And that's when racism becomes normalized. Kalidou Koulibaly, the tears that shamed Italian football. At the San Siro, Koulibaly endured sustained racist chants. Referee announcements were made, the game continued. Then he was sent off after reacting in frustration. He walked off in tears. That image, a world-class defender crying under stadium lights, became a symbol of institutional failure. Sometimes the system follows protocols and still fails the players. Bulgaria vs England in 2019, when the match stopped. Twice. The 3-step anti-racism protocol was activated, announcements were made, the match paused, Nazi salutes were seen, monkey chants were heard, the game resumed. This was progress, because action was taken. But it also proved something: protocol without deterrence is not enough. Samuel Eto'o in 2006, the breaking point. Samuel Eto'o had endured racist abuse in Spain for years. In Zaragoza, he nearly walked off the pitch. Teammates and coaches persuaded him to stay, but that moment mattered because it showed elite players were reaching their psychological limit. Silence was no longer sustainable. Dani Alves in 2014. Turning humiliation into defiance. A banana lands near Dani Alves during a corner. He picks it up, peels it, eats it. The moment goes viral worldwide. It was powerful. It was defiant. It flipped the narrative. But it also revealed how routine such abuse had become. Resistance was necessary because prevention had failed. John Barnes in 1988. The image that defined an era. Before campaigns, before social media outrage, before protocols, there was John Barnes at Goodison Park. A banana thrown from the crowd, calmly backheels it away. That image etched into football history. It represents a time when racism was loud, visible, and casual, and when black players were expected to endure it in silence. The Premier League era would later promise reform, but Barnes' generation paid the emotional price. John Terry vs Antoine Ferdinand, 2011, when the captain went to court. An England captain facing criminal proceedings over racist language. Even though the court acquitted Terry, the FA imposed a suspension. The case divided fans, media, and teammates. But it established something important: status does not shield you from scrutiny, and racism allegations will now be treated as serious institutional matters. Kevin Prince Boateng walk off in 2013, the moment players took control. During a friendly match in Italy, Boateng heard racist abuse, he kicked the ball into the stand and walked off. His teammates followed, the match was abandoned. This wasn't symbolic, this was power. From that day forward, the idea of players refusing to entertain racism became real. Player agencies had entered the anti-racism conversation. Through a 2020 final in 2021, the digital shift, Rashford, Sancho and Saka. 3 young men targeted online after missing penalties. Thousands of racist messages flooded social media. The terrorists had moved to the timeline. Government intervened. Tech companies were pressured. Public outrage was immediate. Football racism had entered the digital age and it was global. Luis Suarez versus Patrice Evra in 2011, the institutional reckoning, an 8-match ban, a 115-page report, one of the most explosive cases in Premier League history. It forced football to confront linguistic, cultural and legal complexities, but more importantly, it forced institutions to act decisively. It was no longer about fan chants, it was about accountability between professionals. The Vinicius Jr era, 2021 till present, when the law entered the game. And now, number 1, because this isn't one moment, it's a pattern. Vinicius Jr has faced repeated racist abuse across Spain, chants, gestures, hostile stadiums, season after season. Warnings were issued, fines were given, but it kept happening. The breaking point came at the Mestalla in 2023. During Valencia vs Real Madrid, racist chants were clearly heard. Vinicius stopped the match, the world was watching. This time, it didn't disappear into headlines. In 2024, Spanish court sentenced fans involved in abuse to prison terms, not just bans, not just fines, jail. A historic first in Spain, turning stadium racism into a criminal offense with real consequences. And the scrutiny didn't stop there. By 2026, the issue resurfaced in Europe during a Champions League match between Benfica and Real Madrid, when Vinicius alleged racist abuse from Benfica's Gianluca Prestiani, prompting investigation and global attention. The message was clear: this was no longer just a football problem. Why is this number 1? Because this era forced a shift from campaign slogans to legal consequences, from silence to accountability, and that changed the fight against racism in football forever. From John Barnes in 1988 to Vinicius Jr in the 2020s, football has evolved, but evolution is not victory. Victory is when players step onto a pitch and race is irrelevant. Victory is when punishment is immediate, consistent, and unquestioned. Victory is when anti-racism campaigns are no longer necessary. If you believe football must keep moving forward, comment below which moment changed the game the most. And if you want more long-form football documentaries like this, like the video and subscribe to Sports Lab Daily, your daily dose of football stories that go beyond the pitch, because the beautiful game deserves better and we'll keep holding it accountable.